Most of us have been doing our job long enough to know when we're giving our best and typically what is the right way of doing things and then what is just good enough. And that's all well and good, but when it comes to being safe and practicing safety at the workplace, just being good enough will end up setting yourself up and those around you up for failure. If you aren't practicing safety the way that you're supposed to, you're opening yourself up to being more susceptible to hazards, to injuries. And not only you, but like I said, those that are working with you, your coworkers, and maybe not even those that are working directly with you, but those that are still within the same area as you were working in. And it may not seem like such a big deal because sometimes you may take a shortcut, or sometimes you may, cut a corner and nothing happens. But you're not going to be that lucky forever. It is very important that when you go out to your work area, take 2 minutes. Many people call it a take two, or some people call it a 2-minute drill. Whatever your organization or whatever your company calls it, once you get to your work area, take a few minutes and identify any of the hazards that may be around you. Find out what you can do to remove the hazards or mitigate those hazards to ensure that you and your partner, you and your coworkers are able to work safely for the duration of that activity and keep those around you safe as well. Make sure that you're on the right equipment. Make sure that that equipment is actually locked out and de-energized. And there are many different reasons why we may not give safety our all. One, we could be complacent. Two, would be lack of training or the overall safety culture at the job site. Another one could be lack of energy or fatigue from a long and stressful work week. We've all been there. But in order to prevent ourselves from being complacent, in order to prevent ourselves from just being good enough at safety, we have to always aim to do our best. When we are not feeling well or when we're fatigued, we need to identify that within ourselves and communicate that to others. Remind yourself why the safety procedures are there. Remind yourself why you are there to work safely. Remind yourself why you need to go home safely that night or at the end of the week, wherever you may be working at, because a lot of people travel for work nowadays. Yeah, and don't forget the trusty old peer check. If you're working with a buddy of yours, if you're working with a coworker, get them to look over your shoulder. Make sure that you're right on track. Get them to go over and double check what you've done to make sure that you've done it correctly. Look, safety is not something that should be disregarded. It affects you and it affects a lot of other people directly as well as indirectly. I mean, being safe is put there to keep you healthy, keep you safe and going home each day, to be with the ones that you're going to work safely for.